We're rounding the last corner on two wheels as we fast track this episode. Shit, there's a loud car going by, speaking of vehicles.
As we fast track this shit.
Wipeout.
Motherfucker.
That's right. So I got to get to the Tourette's doctor. Hey, everyone. It's Elliot.
And Todd. Welcome to Two Designers Walk Into a Bar, an ongoing conversation about pop culture and iconic design.
Todd, we don't recommend drinking and driving, do we?
No, but we do recommend talking pop culture and cars while sitting safe and sound on a couple of bar stools.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So, what did you arrive here in?
I fought traffic today in the original Batmobile. And you?
I hit 88 miles per hour in my DeLorean to make it on time.
So ask your bartender for a couple of Golden Cadillacs.
We're rounding the last corner on two wheels as we fast track this episode right here in the bar.
All right, Elliot, we know we're talking about some famous pop culture vehicles today. Ones that happen to be close to both of our hearts, I would say. Is that fair?
Sure, that's fair.
So as I was thinking about this and getting together, probably over a couple shots, I thought, man, there are a ton of famous pop culture vehicles out there.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
So I thought, let's have some fun. Let's see how many we can go back and forth in 30 seconds and name. I'll set a timer. Are you ready?
Okay, go for it.
All right. You go first, okay? Starting now.
The General Lee.
The Mystery Machine.
The A-Team van.
Speed Buggy.
Oh, I love Speed Buggy. Let me think. Now my brain's freezing.
I'm going to win.
Herbie the Love Bug.
Oh, good one. Kit. Kit Wonder Car.
You stole mine.
What?
Did Evel Knievel's motorcycle have a name?
We'll say it did. Yeah, the stunt cycle. Oh, there's 30 seconds. Okay. We didn't get as many as I was kind of expecting we would, but, that's
I wasn't cheating. That's why.
Well, I wasn't cheating, but there's a lot. I mean, we went through a couple there pretty quickly, and I have to be fair. Some I didn't even think about as we were doing some homework for today. So I would say...
Oh, the Ecto one.
Yeah, I see. That was the first one I thought you were going to say.
Nah, I mean, I can't be all Ghostbusters all the time.
I know. Sometimes you got to be Back to the Future, don't you?
I do. Speaking of the 80s. Yes.
Speaking of the 80s. So as a matter of fact, you're going to be talking about the DeLorean Time Machine, which is in the top 2 most famous cars. And guess what else is in the top 2?
The band, The Cars?
Not in vehicles, no.
Oh.
But the Batmobile.
Yeah, I figured. I wasn't willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. So I imagine if you're bringing up this list that the DeLorean is number 2 and the Batmobile is number 1.
It is.
And then my other question is this a list that you pulled together right before this episode?
It's a list I made. I checked a couple. Actually, there's no official list. I would say it's pretty safe to assume the DeLorean Time Machine and the Batmobile are in the top 5 of a bunch of lists that I looked at. But there's, some plenty famous ones out there.
Yeah, I'm sure one of your other favorites is probably, and I don't know if this has a name, what was the Beverly Hillbillies car called?
Yeah, the truck. So yeah, that definitely is a famous one too.
Ooh, Sanford and Son, that truck, their red truck.
I never thought about that one. I thought, what about Starsky and Hutch's car?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
See, we could do this.
Bullet, the car and Bullet.
Oh yeah. Oh, man.
I love how we put a time limit on ourselves and then we just blew that up.
Yeah, now we're just going on and on. But all right.
Why should this episode be different from any other?
I know. Okay. I want to know more about the DeLorean time machine because I certainly have seen the movie and I know how it fits into the movie, but I don't know how it got to be there.
Okay, yeah. So there's a little bit of a backstory on this.
All right.
That's interesting because, a DeLorean. So let's be honest with ourselves here as we bring this car up, right? If it weren't for Back to the Future, this car, I think, and you could tell me if you disagree, but I feel like this car would have been largely forgotten to the annals of history, right? There is nothing exceptional in and of itself about this car.
Okay, I do see what you're saying. I think it would be a punchline if it were not for Back to the Future because of John DeLorean and the whole arrest for cocaine.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would have the sort of regard that it does.
Yeah. So instead of being forgotten, I would argue that 4 generations and counting know about it, right? You know, you have Boomers and Gen X and Millennials and, Gen Z, like our kids both know about it. If they saw it, they'd be like, I know what that's from, right? So Back to the Future, for the one person listening to this podcast who is maybe a pop culture podcast who for whatever reason has never seen Back to the Future.
We should call that person up and just talk to them.
We'll just recite the script to them so they still don't have to see it. So this movie came out in 1985. Plot summary real quick. Teenager Marty McFly is accidentally sent back to 1955, so 30 years into the past, in this time-traveling car built by an eccentric scientist named Doc Brown, so his buddy Doc Brown. And then while trying to return to his own time in the 80s, Marty must ensure his teenage parents fall in love, all, of course, without disrupting the course of history.
Right.
So would you say that's a fair summary of the movie?
Yeah. I'd say that's a very good synopsis, but a lot of hilarity ensues.
Yeah. Not to get too far off topic here because we are talking about cars, of course, but basically this has been, the script to this movie, it's been said is like one of the most perfect movie scripts, if not the most perfect movie script ever written.
Oh, yeah?
Basically, you want to write a movie script, this is 101, the structure to do it.
Oh,
so there you go.
Okay.
So that film you've been working on, Todd, the podcast film, we need to travel back in time. No, we can still do it. We just need to kind of make it a Bill and Ted meets Back to the Future thing, which I'm sure, if we think of all the IP, I mean, if we pitch that to Hollywood, I mean, we're good to go.
Okay.
We just need to figure out which of our vehicles we're going to paint and use as the iconic vehicle. I'm thinking my 98 Honda Civic might be up to the challenge.
I'm thinking that too.
All right, we'll figure that out. So anyway, in the movie, the time machine, of course, as everyone knows, is built from this retrofitted DeLorean. Mm-hmm. And its time travel ability is derived from what's known as the flux capacitor. That is this component that allows the car to travel to the past or the future, but it doesn't travel through space, right? So when it's zipping along, that's why it crashes into the mall or crashes into the porn theater, or whatever, because it or the Twin Pines Mall becomes the Lone Pine Mall. I love that aspect of it.
I do.
So this occurs when the car accelerates to 88 miles per hour, and it requires 1.21, you could say gigawatt, you could say gigawatt. I think this is like a GIF kind of thing.
Yeah.
But 1.21 gigawatts of electricity.
Sounds believable.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, so far, there's this is totally legitimate.
Oh, yeah.
But why a DeLorean? Like, where did the DeLorean come from? So the film's director, Robert Zemeckis, suggested the DeLorean be used because it offered mobility. It was a car and a unique design, right? Because it had this metal body. It has these gull-wing doors.
Yeah.
And when they would open up, it would appear like an alien UFO to a family from the 50s. Mm-hmm. And I know you're going to talk about what a futuristic car looked like in the 50s in a minute. And I would argue it did not have gull-wing doors. So he was spot on in this assessment, I think, Zemeckis was.
I think you're right.
So the DeLorean, for the movie, the DeLorean was developed under the supervision of Lawrence Paul, who designed it with concept artist Ron Cobb and illustrator Andrew Probert. So they intended for the vehicle to look like it had been cobbled together, right? So Doc Brown wasn't in some lab somewhere. He was working out of his garage, right? So he sort of cobbled this thing together from commonly available parts found in a hardware store, Radio Shack, or, disassembling appliances or whatever.
Look up Radio Shack.
Yeah. In the 80s, Radio Shack was huge to make his time machine, right? From household parts.
Right.
So, what about the car itself? So, what was this thing based on? A DeLorean, a run-of-the-mill DeLorean, not the time-traveling kind, but just the kind that would suck money out of your pockets. So it's a rear-engine, two-passenger sports car with the gull-wing doors we mentioned earlier. And the appearance, the body panels were all made from stainless steel. So this car looks pretty cool. It sort of has a Cybertruck look, 40 years before a Cybertruck.
Right.
There's a little bit of influence, and I think of the two, I would probably prefer to have a DeLorean, but that's just me. But anyway, so this thing, it looks really fast. You're thinking, oh yeah, it's a little sports coupe. It's got these gull-wing doors. Todd, how many seconds do you think it took this sucker to hit 60 miles per hour?
Oh, probably like 5 seconds.
Double that. So it took 0 to 60 when you punch it in 10 seconds. So yeah, don't go on the interstate with this thing. It's going to turn into your stainless steel coffin. So the top speed for this thing was 110 miles an hour. So again, I would argue maybe it would only do it once, but I think I could probably get my Civic up to 110 miles per hour.
It sounds like it would take a day and a half to get to 100.
Yeah, well, not my. I think my Civic could probably outpace this car. So the DeLorean was overpriced, it was underpowered, and for true car enthusiasts, they'll all admit it was basically just a piece of shit. And the car wasn't even produced. You'll love this. The car wasn't even produced for 2 full calendar years. It was produced, it started on January 21st, 1981, and it ceased production in late December of 82. And that was after DeLorean Motors had gone bankrupt and someone else took it over to finish the rest of the cars, right? So there were only about 9,000 units of this car produced in total. So like 4,500 a year, if you average that out, that is not a lot of cars. It's like, 10, 12, 15 cars a day, maybe. That's assuming you're working 7 days a week or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so a little bit more background on this. Steven Spielberg, we've talked about him before. Todd, I think you told me you've heard of him.
Heard of him.
So he was Zemeckis' mentor on this film. And so the time machine was originally going to be something stationary. So we said it had more dynamism when it was something that was mobile. So a car, especially a cool-looking car, was perfect, right? But it originally was going to be a refrigerator.
That sounds a lot less cool.
It does. Yeah, a lot less dynamic.
Yeah.
But basically, Spielberg nixed that idea because he was worried that kids would see the movie, climb into refrigerators thinking they were time machines, and then, get stuck in them. So probably a lot harder to come by a DeLorean than it is to come by an old refrigerator.
Yeah.
Okay, now you'll love this too. Product placement. So, the 80s, part of the reason we love the 80s, not only pop culture, but also the beginning of shameless promotion.
Yes.
Okay, Todd. So Ford Motors catches wind of this movie, and they decide, DeLorean, if it's going to be a car, it should be a Mustang. How much money do you think Ford offered the producers to put a Mustang in this movie?
Oh, wow. In like 85?
Yeah, 85. And I assume this is in addition to a free Mustang or two.
Yeah. 25 grand.
Triple that.
75,000 to use a Mustang for that product. Wow.
But if you think about it, though, that's for ad time. Like if you're advertising during the Super Bowl, that's how many Ford ads are you showing to a captive audience, right? So like for Ford, that'd be a total deal. However, Bob Gale, the producer, he had a great response to this. He said, you'll love this, and I quote, Doc Brown doesn't drive a fucking Mustang. unquote. So it's like, your money's no good here, friends. It's like, probably at that point they'd already been saddled with getting these DeLoreans, and they're like, how the hell are we supposed to unload these?
Right.
So this guy named Michael Fink was hired as the art department liaison, and so he was tasked with realizing the concept artist Ron Cobb's sketches and overseeing the car's construction, right? So, they doodle this out, they're markering this thing out, but then you got to actually make the damn thing, right? Illustration's easy, but you got to make it work in the movie, with practical effects and all that. So Fink had actually worked on, you may have heard of these films, Todd, Blade Runner. I think that movie did all right.
Yeah. I think it did.
Buckaroo Banzai did less all right.
I like the movie.
Yeah. So, both of these movies were very popular sci-fi films in the 80s. So he has this other project lined up, but he agreed to help build this DeLorean in the free weeks he had remaining. So I have no idea what this other project was, but, in his free time, he made arguably, I guess we could argue, the second most iconic vehicle in pop culture history, right?
Yeah.
So there were actually 3 DeLoreans used.
They had to find 3 of them.
Yeah, this is the thing, right? So the movie was made in 85. The car had no longer had been made. It stopped being made 2 years earlier. So they had to now track these damn cars down. So they found them from a collector, and they purchased 3 of them. One was for the stunts, one was for special effects, and then a more detailed hero version was for all the close-up shots, right? So that was the one that actually had all the gewgaws and doodads and circuitry and all the junk totally glued to it and all that. When you're driving from a distance, like, it doesn't need to look perfect, you know what I mean?
I love the words gewgaw.
Gewgaw is a good word.
Well, that fits.
Here's the problem.
Yep.
Half of the factory gewgaws, they didn't work. Like, these cars were always apparently, like, breaking down. So it's great. I wonder to what degree Doc Brown and, like, the car, not working, like, when Marty was trying to use it and it would poop out, or the flux capacitor would poop out. Something tells me they had a lot of inspiration from just dealing with these DeLoreans.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right, so 88 miles per hour. Let's talk about that. So for our friends using the metric system, 142 kilometers per hour.
Yep.
So that was chosen as the time travel speed because it was easy to remember and it looked cool on the speedometer, right? You got these two 88s.
Makes sense.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, get this. This is what's funny. So the movie came out in 85.
Right.
Right? We talked about that. So on a production DeLorean, the speedometer, even though the top speed of the car was 110, the DeLorean with its digital speedometer, it only went up to 85.
Oh, jeez. You can't make this up.
So it's like they didn't even expect it to go over 85. Like, we talked about this car being underpowered. It was almost like DeLorean's like, maybe downhill. If something breaks and you have a stiff wind at your back, you'll get over 85 miles an hour.
The engineer was like, John, we can save $500,000 if we don't go up to 100 on the speedometer.
Yeah, if we don't have a third column. Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, 85 is great.
You don't even need like a little plus sign. It could even be like 99 plus or something. Like, this is all so amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just goes to question marks.
It's ludicrous speed or whatever. So the DeLorean traveling through time. So this is one thing about the movie that's sort of interesting as we start to wrap this up. The act of the DeLorean traveling through time was called the quote-unquote time slice effect. And this was something Zemeckis came up with because he knew that he wanted the transition to sort of be abrupt and violent, right? If you remember, it leaves this trail of fire on the ground when the tires go by, when it's flashing through time. And you'll love this quote. He described this violent action as a, quote, Neanderthal sitting on the hood of the DeLorean and chipping away at the fabric of time in front of him.
Man, that's a poet.
It is. I'm sort of disappointed they didn't have an actual Neanderthal.
Maybe, you would think of one of the sequels they could have gotten.
Well, I would say, who's the agency that does the Geico Caveman? Is that Martin Agency?
Oh, yeah, Martin.
Yeah, so for all our listeners who are employed by the Martin Agency, I think we have your next ad concept.
Yeah, it writes itself.
It does. DeLorean Insurance.
Wow.
So the effect itself, if you remember, it's kind of this flash. And then the license plate, you remember, was spinning on the ground, like whatever, out of time or whatever. So Zemeckis preferred this because he didn't want the audience to think too much about the mechanics of how time travel worked, right? It's like, just dazzle them with effects and they won't ask too many questions, right? So you mentioned in the pecking order, Todd, that the DeLorean is number 2, which, according to this list that you came up with, this fictitious list. But I want to talk about a couple pop culture moments for the DeLorean, because I'm going to defend it here.
Okay.
So in 2021, the time machine was added to the Library of Congress's National Historic Vehicle Register.
Okay, fair. Good.
Yeah, so it's in the Library of Congress, so it's preserved for all time. No pun intended. And then the second piece here, so O'Reilly Auto Parts. In their parts catalog, they actually list a flux capacitor, and they have the description and the image, and then it says the part is described as being for a 1981 through 83 DeLorean, but that the plutonium must be provided separately.
No way.
This is great. So, and then just as we wrap up, I do want to mention with iconic cars and some of the ones that we mentioned at the top of the episode. Years ago, I was at South by Southwest down in Austin, Texas, and the National Geographic Channel was coming out with a documentary series about the 80s. And they had a concert to announce this series, and Girl Talk was the entertainer to announce the show. So it was a free Girl Talk show. Luckily, I snuck into that. But the reason I bring this up is because outside the venue, they had hired a bunch of collectors to bring their vehicles. So there was Kit, there was the A-Team van, there were several vehicles, and one of them was one of the DeLoreans from Back to the Future. So I've actually seen it up close and personal.
Man, yes, you have, along with some others. Wow, fascinating. Great story, Elliot. So the theme of that is underpowered and overpriced.
Yeah. You know, and I was thinking maybe our bartender has just invented a new cocktail called the DeLorean, because that phrase really reminds me of our last round.
Oh, why do you care? You're not paying for them.
Well, I need to have the right stimulation going into the second half of our episode.
I need some stimulus myself, of the financial variety.
We'll be right back.
Hi. We want to take a moment to mention that if you're enjoying this episode, we have an archive of topics ranging from the Olympics to movie posters.
Think Ghostbusters.
Iconic images.
Think Bigfoot.
Punk music.
The Ramones.
Saturday morning cartoons.
The Pink Panther.
And failed products like OK Soda. Visit our website at twodesignerswalkintoabar.com for full episode notes and visuals, the latest blog content, and to sign up for our newsletter.
Follow us on social media. We can be found on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Find the links on our website or search using the phrase "Two Designers Walk Into a Bar."
Most importantly, leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps more people like you find podcasts like this.
And tell a friend about us. Send them a link to our podcast from your listening platform of choice.
And if you're inclined, buy our merchandise. Stickers, coasters, magnets, t-shirts. We're designers. We make good stuff, and it helps support the show.
Get in touch. Use the contact form on our website or send an email to hello@twodesignerswalkintoabar.com.
We read every message we get. Honest.
And we're available for speaking gigs. Email us to learn more.
Okay, now back to the bar.
Okay, Todd, so I talked about the quote-unquote number 2 car of all time on this list, so
yeah,
I guess it only stands to reason that you should grab the microphone and talk for, I don't know, at least 1 or 2 minutes about the number 1 vehicle that you love so much. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, Batman.
Yes.
Blah, blah, the Batmobile.
Yes.
Blah, blah, Batman hung the moon when he hung the bat signal.
Yeah.
Blah, blah. My name is Todd. Okay, so dazzle us with your wisdom about the Batmobile.
Thank you for letting me introduce this, Elliot. This will be a 12-part series of our podcast of me talking about the Batmobile, as you know.
So you're going to talk about when the iron for it was originally mined?
Yeah, right. I'm going to go way back. Yeah. See, there's this Neanderthal.
Shipping on the hood of a DeLorean.
Well, okay. You know, in fairness, though, there's only one DeLorean time machine, but there have been plenty of Batmobiles. So it's kind of, it's less fair that I say that that's ranked number 1, although the one that is ranked number 1 is the classic 1966 one that everybody knows. And here's why it's famous. Do you know that this was the first true superhero car on television?
Really?
Like with futuristic gadgets? Yeah. I mean, I didn't know that until I started thinking about that, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, Superman just flew around.
He didn't have a car.
Yeah, he didn't.
He ran everywhere.
Yeah.
Aquaman. Underwater cars hadn't been invented yet, right?
Isn't an underwater car called a submarine?
See what I mean? Not invented. Spider-Man. Spiders can't drive. You know that. but this car, it really defined pop culture perceptions of the Batmobile for decades. This 1966
I'll agree to that.
version.
I had a magazine. One of the magazines I got when I was little it was called National Geographic World, and I don't know why, but it had like a big spread of the Batmobile in it.
Yeah.
Man, I love the fuck out of that issue. When I saw that, that's like a Playboy centerfold for a little kid.
For gearheads, yeah. Well, I mean, it is. It's like candy. It's like you put that on anything or have it at a car show. It's candy. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go into a lot of description, just like you don't need to go into a lot of description for the DeLorean. Everyone has seen this. It's recognizable because it's like glossy black with this red kind of fluorescent trim, has double canopies over the driver and passenger seats, and it has these gigantic 84-inch fins that come off of it.
I never knew they were that long. That's insane.
Yeah, well, they don't stick out that far from the car. That's when they start up by, But, they're gigantic. So just some predecessors for the classic Batmobile, because how did we get here? Well, Batman's first vehicle appears in Detective Comics number 27, which is way back in May of 1939. And you're going to love this. Check this out. It's an ordinary, like, red car. And I'm like, what? The Dark Knight?
He was undercover then, though.
Yeah,
right?
The Dark Knight roaming the mean streets of bleak Gotham in a red car. That ain't no damn Starsky and Hutch. This ain't no Charlie's Angels. It's
Maybe
Batman.
He had to rent it. Yeah,
well,
maybe he
maybe
didn't, own a car yet, or he had to borrow one from a buddy.
Yeah, well, check this out. The term Batmobile wasn't even used until 1941. So, what do they do? They're like, did they just call it car? Like, Robin, to the car. Like, how did you know where to go? Yeah.
Right.
Anywho, but the famous one is actually based on a Lincoln Futura concept car that is from 1955.
Wait, hold on a second. So the series, you're a student of this. The series started in what, 61?
66.
60. Oh, okay. So they were using an 11-year-old car for this futuristic bat car?
Yes, and there's a wonderful story behind that.
Okay.
Do you want to hear about it?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Well, let me first tell you about the Futura concept car.
You're telling it anyway. Okay.
I am. It was designed by Ford's lead stylist, Bill Schmidt, and John Najjar. And Schmidt got the whole idea for this crazy looking car while scuba diving after encountering a shark.
Okay.
So I guess
it was a shark in a submarine. Was he like, I can do an underwater car, but do it on land?
So I guess, if they would have made a TV show called Shark Man, that would have been a little too much on the nose for this.
I mean, it's very meta, though, because remember, Batman later does have the shark repellent.
He does, yeah. So, it all is a nice little bow. And just, you know how I love to tie together pop culture threads?
Yeah.
A friend of Bill Schmidt's on the same diving adventure was a guy named Bill Mitchell. He gained inspiration for an experimental car called the XP755 Mako Shark concept vehicle.
Okay.
Which you would know as the 1963 Corvette Stingray.
Oh, I love that.
How about that? Look at that. One diving adventure. Bam.
Yeah. So thank a shark.
Yeah. I mean, thank sharks for this. But anyway.
And then Jaws, I don't think Jaws drove, but Jaws ate a boat.
Jaws?
So
he couldn't drive a car. Yeah.
No, man, he's not. Yeah, what's he doing now?
So this concept car, the Futura, was actually built in Italy by Ghia, who are carriage builders in Turin, Italy.
Is that like Carmen Ghia? Is that the same Ghia? Okay.
Yeah. But it cost $250,000 in 1955 to build this car.
Holy smokes.
I know. Yeah, dude. That's almost $3 million in today's money.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
I mean, that's a lot for a concept car.
Yeah, this is a car that was just like, hey, check this out.
It's like, hey, look, see what we can do. Yeah. It did debut at the Chicago Auto Show of 1955, and then it actually was in a movie in its original form. The movie was called It Started With a Kiss with Glenn Ford, Debbie Reynolds, Ava Gabor.
Okay, so the car, it was a model car, but if it was in a movie, like it actually ran, like it had an engine in it.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
It was fully functional. Okay.
Oh, yeah. It ran.
Some of them don't.
No,
I mean, some of them are like, hey, look at this thing. And then you open it up and there's like no engine in it or whatever, right?
So here's the funny thing. It was never titled. Therefore, it never had insurance. So Ford ended up selling it to George Barris, the car customizer. And can you guess, for a $250,000 car, how much Barris had to pay for that? In 1960, by the way. So it was 5 years old at the time.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a one-of-a-kind vehicle.
One-of-a-kind, futuristic vehicle.
I'll say, I mean, I'll assume they did nothing. It obviously never went into production as a real car.
Correct.
So it kind of sat around. I'll split. If I'm Ford, I'm going to split the difference. I'll say $125K out the door.
To get out of it, they're going to spend $125K.
Yeah. But still, I'm not going to recoup my money, but I'm not going to
But they've had it around for 5 years. Yeah. Well, you're close. They sold it to George Barris for $1.
Oh, I was only $124,999 off.
And
a dollar.
Yeah.
Just like take this off our hands.
Weird looking car, and it stayed. That was in 1960, and it stayed behind his shop for 6 years. Well, actually, it stayed behind his shop until 3 weeks before filming started on the Batman show.
So he gets a call, and he's like, hey, you got to make this futuristic car. And he's like, oh, I have just the vehicle. Boy, as luck would have it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's exactly what happened.
I'm in this damn thing for $1. I got to get at least $1 back.
He's like, I'll charge you $1.50 and get 50% profit here.
Okay.
Well, the project was originally assigned to a guy named Dean Jeffries in 1965, and he's also a well-known car customizer in Hollywood. He was going to modify a 1959 Cadillac, which would have been, probably on the clunky side. But ABC executives made the decision to get Batman on the air in January of '66 instead of October, the original release date. And Dean Jeffrey was like, I'm out.
But did he choose it's not like with where Ford wanted the Mustang.
Nah.
It did, GM didn't approach them and say, hey,
put
a Cadillac in this. It was just
just
get
was
us
what
a
he
car
had.
and make some. Okay.
Yeah. So it went to George Barris, who was known as the king of customizers. You know how we love hot rod culture here on the podcast. And, he was no slouch. He built the Munsters car, Grandpa Munster's Dragula. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And you mentioned the Beverly Hillbillies truck earlier. He built that as well. There's plenty of other customs. But anyway, he got a call 3 weeks before they were ready to film. And due to time constraints, he's like, I've got this 10-year-old car sitting in the back of my lot. I bet I could do something with that. So he hired a couple guys, one named Herb Grassa, and the guy that did the metal work was a guy named Bill Cushenberry. And so, they completed the Batmobile as we know it in 3 weeks for the cost of $30,000.
Okay.
So, he put some time into it in 3 weeks, but, he turned his dollar into $30,000 pretty easily.
Yeah.
You talked about some of the challenges that the DeLorean had being kind of a crappy car. Well, the Batmobile was a big-ass car.
Oh, yeah.
It weighed like 5,500 pounds. And it's almost
close to 3 tons.
And it's almost 19 feet long, right? So,
this is a 2-seater car.
I know, 2-seater car. It's like I think that the boat in Jaws was smaller than this.
The Orca or whatever that was.
So for our gearhead friends out there, it was a 390 Ford V8, and they had problems, like during filming, because it overheated, because it weighed almost 3 tons. The battery kept dying, and they had these expensive Mickey Thompson tires that kept blowing out because they were so expensive.
Yeah, and it's not like this car was going 100 miles an hour around a racetrack. They were just sort of driving it around, and the weight, these tires are like,
Cars
no
are popping,
thanks.
batteries were dying.
But also, again, this was a concept car, I'm thinking. So it was not meant to be like the Cadillac.
Correct.
Cadillac was sort of like a touring sedan,
It was
right?
a production car,
Yeah, so, I mean, it was actually meant to, be driven on a highway for a few hours. But this concept car that was meant to simply sit at auto shows in a showroom.
Look pretty in a showroom.
Yeah, and maybe the engine would turn over when you turn the key, but it was certainly not meant for any extended use.
Right.
Plus it had been sitting outside for 6 years or whatever.
In the rain and everything.
Yeah, just birds pooping on it. Okay.
Yeah. So you told us that there were 3 DeLoreans used in the production of Back to the Future. The question is out there, like, how many of the Batmobiles of this time, the 1966 Batmobiles out there? Yeah. Well, including the original one, which was from the concept car. So George Barris, he made a mold of that, and he created 3 more fiberglass replicas to use for shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, for different episodes, you mean? Like for when you say the show, do you mean like car shows, like appearances?
Both, yes. For appearances at car shows and for later episodes.
But I mean, it makes total sense because fiberglass is so much lighter, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So many less problems.
Yeah, he later acquired a 4th one that was made out of metal that was from a 58 Thunderbird.
Wait, what do you mean he acquired it? So like
someone else had made one out of a 58 Thunderbird, and so at one time he had all five Batmobiles, because check this out, he retained ownership. He was leasing the car to the studio.
Oh, that's so smart.
So smart. So okay, guess this. After the TV series ended, how much would you say in 1966 dollars the Batmobile, the original one, was worth? You had a good guess before.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to my original guess.
Okay.
But let's put that dollar back in there.
Okay.
And let's add the original.
$125,000 and 1.
Yeah. So we'll say that. So we'll say he's getting some money back plus his original dollar.
Yes, you are right. It was valued at $125K.
Oh, wow.
Which in today's money would be like $1.2 million. Which makes sense. I mean, it was on a super popular TV show, right? And it was one of a kind.
Pop culture, but one of five.
Well, I mean, the original one was one of a kind. Yeah.
So did it ever have a VIN? Like, since he owned it and built this thing out, like, could it be Did it get a title or anything like that?
I don't know that, but I would probably say no because it lived in his museum in California.
Okay.
Up until pretty recently, like 2013, the number one Batmobile, the concept car one, was sold in 2013 at an auction for $4.62 million.
Oh, wow.
To a guy named Rick Champagne.
That's going to be my new name. I want to be Rick Champagne.
Well, it's taken, and he evidently is wealthy. And anyway, I remember seeing this on whatever Hot Rod channel or something like that. It was amazing. The number 2 Batmobile, one of the fiberglass ones, is owned by a Dr. Anderson, and he later bought the number 1 from Rick Champagne. So he now owns number 1 and number 2, and he bought it for an undisclosed amount. We have to assume it was more than $4.6 million.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, this doctor in Fairfax, Virginia, now owns at least 2 of the Batmobiles. And the only other one I'm going to mention was another fiberglass one. It was sold and restored to this guy named Dennis Danzig, and it was actually an exhibition drag racing Batmobile.
I imagine that thing would blow apart.
Yeah, but it would go quarter mile in just under 12 seconds. So
yeah, a little bit faster pickup than that DeLorean.
A little bit faster, yeah.
Okay, so do we need to make a road trip to visit Dr. Anderson up in Virginia?
If he would have us, we do. I think he probably would slam the door in our face. But you know what we do need to do, Elliot? We need to make a road trip to Logansport, Indiana.
Oh, why is that?
Okay, there's an organization there called Fiberglass Freaks, which do tons of customs, but they are the only DC authorized company to build Batmobile replicas. So you
So we could buy a podcast. We could own a Batmobile replica.
We could own a street-worthy 1966 Batmobile replica from Fiberglass Freaks in Logansport, Indiana. And
so
on top of this,
want? And what do they want for it?
I don't know.
What are they going for?
Well, I emailed the owner to ask, just let him know I was going to talk about this and how much I love the Batmobile, but I didn't ask.
You were going to happen to find yourself in Logansport, Indiana.
Well,
at some point.
Told him. Yeah, I told it's a really nice guy. His name is Mark Raycop, and he also has a Batman museum in Logansport, which has replicas of the studio sets, like the Batcave, Wayne Manor. I mean, this guy is my hero. He has put it all down there. So we've got to go to Logansport, Indiana.
Heck yeah, we do. We got to make a Midwestern junket.
I know. I have a feeling.
What is Logansport near in Indiana? Where is it in relation?
It's near Indianapolis.
Okay. All right.
But I have a feeling we couldn't afford one. I just have a feeling.
I don't know. I think if we get a few more listeners, I think the sponsorship dollars will start rolling it. We need to get these guys as a sponsor, Todd.
Wouldn't that be great? I would be so honored. So, Mr. Raycop, if you're listening, give us a jingle, man. We would love to know more about what you're doing there.
Oh, man. So, Todd, if there's one thing I can say about all of this, without a doubt, you sure do love Batman.
Ah, I do. And I'm not embarrassed to admit it.
Speaking of superheroes, you'd be one in my eyes if you grabbed us the next round.
I think I need a faster getaway car.
See you next time, everybody.